What do you want the cold open to be for this episode?
I don't care.
Want to talk about the book I'm reading that I'm not sure if I'm enjoying, and it's obscenely long.
Honestly, not really. I can't lie to you.
The only thing I'll say is that the page number in like normal pages, right, is less than Crave, a normal page number, but Crave audiobook was like 4 hours shorter than this book.
Why is it so long?
I don't know, and I don't understand what's happening, and I'm like over a quarter of the way through. It's like 18 and a half hours long, and
what
I'm
is it supposed to be about?
I don't know. Books?
Why the fuck are you reading it?
Because it was for a book club.
Fuck the book club. What the hell? Which book club?
The Bookworm Book Club. Worm spelled W-Y-R-M. Some bookish people I'm friends with run it.
I know that much, but like usually book clubs usually stick to like a sort of the same few things, so like I don't know what this one does. So
this one is not usually the same theme, but what a lot of this one is that we like it's like random themes. Each month there's a different theme, right? And then we recommend books for that theme, and then as a group choose which one to read based off of that. Which like
was this originally on your TBR before this or no?
Yes, it was originally.
Okay.
I don't read books for book clubs anymore unless they are originally on my TBR, because it's too large without it. But yeah, no. I know like next month is Kindle Unlimited books that you can like also download elsewhere, and I know Red, White, and Royal Blue is an option. For next month, I may look at I'll see if the page on the or not the podcast, on the Discord for the book is still there, and if it is, I'll look at it. Is I see it. It's the same one that I read the last Hello Flower Bride for.
Okay.
There's only a few people who like put their thoughts in, and I'll look at that and see what their thoughts are and see if I'm gonna continue it. I may just DNF it.
I have like 3 videos I could edit, but I just don't, and I don't know why.
Okay, you ready to talk about a movie that we both enjoyed?
I guess so.
I mean, I think you enjoyed the movie. I'm not sure.
I did.
I miss watching movies and TV shows with you because you always react heavily to things, and it's just hilarious.
Because I'm dramatic and mentally ill.
Yes, but like, I'm watching shows with the sister, and big things will happen, and she'll just be sitting there, and I'll be like, no reaction? No reaction?
Because your sister is boring and rude and mean.
And then, I, like, know that, because, like, we were supposed to watch the show together for this podcast, so I know, like, eventually when we watch the show together, when that exact same scene happens, you're gonna be screaming. I know it, and I'm so excited.
I'm mad that you watched it without me, because I've been wanting to watch it, and then you just watched it without me, when we could have watched it together, and then done everything and had it ready to go whenever it needs to go.
Yeah, and?
But no!
Yeah?
You had to watch it with your stupid sister!
Listen, we still have to watch a Red, White, Royal Blue movie. That's how far behind we are. On that type of
Have you even watched it at all yet?
No, but I've seen videos on it.
Oh my god.
I know a lot of straight people are talking about this one sex scene.
Listen, it's a good movie.
I know it's a good movie. I've seen a lot of clips of it.
I've watched it like at least 3 times. I need to watch it again.
You are so adorable.
I haven't watched it enough. It's honestly really good. It's a little bit disjointed, but I love her. I want to pat her on the head for real.
Okay. Okay, so, you ready to do this damn intro thing?
Sure.
I'm Flower, aka Rose. I don't have a migraine.
Hey, do you know that I love flowers? Haha, that's a joke. That I love you.
Thanks. I don't like fish, but I like you.
I don't like fish that much either. Like, I eat it every once in a while.
I don't
Like every
even,
once in a while, I'll
not
just be
even
like, I
eating
kind of
them.
want
I just don't
this
like
thing.
fish. I don't like anything
Oh.
that has to do with water. It's creepy. It's gross. I don't like
Obviously,
it.
I do. I don't know.
I'm like, every once in a while, Stingray does send me clips of things to do with fish, and every time I just end up cringing into a corner trying not to cry.
I should
Friendship.
write a book that's an underwater horror and make
I do like
and add absolutely everything that's your worst nightmare,
I'd read it.
but make it inside a body of water, and it would literally ruin your life and send you into a institution.
Probably. I do like horror stuff around water, like Into the Drowning Deep.
Yeah, that was my first thought.
I like that. I've read The Deep, I think is called, by Rivers Solomon, I believe
Yes.
is her name. Read that one, like that one.
Well, also that's technically like mermaids slash sirens, and I feel like you just like mermaids slash sirens.
For a bitch who hates water, I also love mermaids slash sirens. Okay.
Did you hear me struggling because
yes.
I developed a list, but there were so many S's in that?
Yes. Subnautica, one of my favorite games, but also I hate it so much. It scares me so much.
Listen, let me go on the rant that I used to not have a list, but then my teeth have moved and shifted and gotten all fucked up because my wisdom teeth are sideways in my mouth, so like all my teeth got pushed together, then pushed apart and pushed together, pushed apart. So my teeth are in different positions than they were when I was younger. So now I have a lisp. Because what else would cause that? Yeah. Nothing else happened to me besides that.
I like a lot of like horror movies that are based around water. Underwater, that's the name of it. I was trying to figure out what's the Kristen Stewart underwater horror movie. Don't worry, I
should watch that.
Me too. I want to watch it. I keep on meaning
At one point, I was on a mission to watch every single Kristen Stewart movie, and then I never did it.
I love that for you. I've watched a few recently. The way this came out after that other movie, I just realized probably shouldn't not go stroke work, but that's fine.
I think the last one I watched, disregarding Twilight, probably is Snow White and the Huntsman.
That one's good. Last time I watched was Personal Shopper, which I think is an indie one, where she plays a medium whose twin brother dies from random heart condition, really young, like he wasn't supposed to like have died from it, like he's supposed to be fine and whatnot.
Sorry.
And then she ends up staying at the house.
You don't know that lore, never mind.
She ends up staying at the house where he died and trying to contact his ghost, but like other things happen instead. It was okay.
Okay.
I was hopeful, but it wasn't as good as I thought it was gonna be. What even was my fun fact? I didn't even say anything.
I don't know.
I said I don't have a migraine today. That's my fun fact, I guess. Okay, and that I don't like fish and water things. It's your turn, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't got to myself yet. Thank you very much. My name is Fish, aka Stingray. And I don't know. I'm wearing my mother's clothes because I'm tired of looking at my own closet because I decided to do this thing, and then I'm regretting it. We're barely a month in, and I already regret every decision I've ever made. Also, I tried a new flavor oatmeal today, and it goes so hard. Fruit oatmeal goes peaches and cream.
Ooh, I like peaches.
Yeah.
My favorite as a kid was apple and cinnamon.
Okay, I've tried the one I would always eat is maple brown sugar. I've eaten that since I was like a small child. I've had apple once, and then my friend told me to try strawberry. So I had a box of strawberry, and then I bought a fruit variety mix. So I tried blueberry yesterday, so good. Then I tried peaches and cream today, immaculate. Like I think if I had to rank them so far, it would be peaches out of the fruit ones. Peaches, blueberry, strawberry. I haven't had the banana one yet, so I'll update y'all when I have the banana one.
Okay. This is very much a stream of consciousness podcast. If you couldn't tell from us going to a weird tangent about water like 2 minutes ago, very similar to how we talk to each other on a daily basis. On today's episode, we have the movie Ex Machina, I think this movie is distributed by Universal, so I don't know if it's counted as direct work or not, despite the fact that it's an A24 film. But technically, this is a review, not promotion, so it should be fine. Like, it's fine. It's not that big of a deal. Just know that I did notice the Universal logo when I started to play the movie. I did notice that, yes.
I don't know nothing about anything. I just listen to you because you're the smart one here.
I try. But yes, Ex Machina, a film that I did not realize that 2 out of the 3 main actors in this film, there's 4 actors in this film. There's 3 main characters.
It's crazy that there's only 4.
Like, there's like
actors.
little tiny people in the background for like 5 seconds for a few
but
scenes.
Like,
but there's
like crazy though.
There's is it her name Kamiko or something like that? I feel like her name's Kamiko, but I don't know if I'm right about that.
It's something basic and that could be considered slightly offensive, which makes sense for dude's character.
Yes.
Already forgot all
Kyoko, that's what it is. I was close. Kyoko, who is the Asian woman who is, for most of the movie, you believe she is the woman who, takes care of everything, around this mansion, place, I don't know, does all the cleaning and whatnot.
And we're told that she cannot speak English, but, well...
I don't even know if she has a working, we're gonna get into it, because spoilers, but, of the 2, she's, like, one of the side characters, but she's in a lot of the scenes, so it's, like, she's a character, but, like, less than the main 3, and then we have the 3 main characters.
She's just working in the back, like, hey.
Yeah. She doesn't even have a line of dialogue. And then the 2 main male actors in this movie are both in Star Wars, and I knew Oscar Isaac was, right?
Off. How do you always do this? It always goes back to Star Wars. I've never encountered Star Wars as much as I've had in my entire life until I became friends with you. Yeah, I would see it in passing and stuff, but I've never encountered Star Wars this much. Like, in any media I've ingested, anything, in real life, out of real life, whatever, I've never encountered Star Wars as much since I met you. What the fuck?
Yeah, so I know Oscar Isaac was in, like, the, Star Wars sequel trilogy as Poe, obviously, who plays Nathan, the rich guy, creator guy, the villain, I guess, of this movie, and then, in our opinion, that's another thing, I'll talk about that in a second, and then the other main...
If you have a different opinion, you're wrong.
The other main actor, who's in Star Wars, plays Hugs in the... or Hux with an X, but then there's a joke about Hugs thing, and you don't need to worry about it, bestie, don't worry about it. In the sequel trilogy,
yeah, I don't
plays, Caleb, who is, the guy who seemingly in the beginning won a lottery type thing, he's a coder, and he won this lottery to visit where the owner of the company lives and see, like, his most recent project and stuff like that. His most recent project is Ava, played by Alicia Vikander. I think that's how you pronounce her last name, Alicia Vikander. Well,
according to CoStar, you're keeping secrets.
Okay. She's from Sweden, so, like, can I pronounce her last name? No. But I've seen her in other things. I love her. Okay. I remember Tomb Raider. She was in the new version of Tomb Raider, like, 4 years after that.
That's what you brought up. Just seems gay.
Listen, you telling me that I do not give off vibes that in the early 2000s I was watching the original Tomb Raider movies with...
you do.
And then I was like, oh, this is so bad, but so good, not understanding what camp was, and also not understanding I was gay. You tell me that, and then I saw her.
The real question is, why does camp go hand in hand with being gay? Like that's the real question. We should do a deep dive on that. For real.
But the actress...
And by we, I mean you.
post this movie, she was in Tomb Raider. I learned she was gonna be Lara Croft. I saw that she was like doing a lot of gym stuff to like get prepared for it, and I was like, hell yeah, so excited. Was it as good as the original?
We get it, you like
no,
woman
because
with
there's no
muscles.
way you can like reach that camp on purpose. But yeah. Also, I learned when we were watching this movie that she's married to Michael Fassbender, which is he's in the X-Men films.
Oh my god.
I thought you'd appreciate that.
Hilariously,
he's Magneto. And his
fucking
wife
Magneto!
Yeah, and his wife plays a robot in this film. Love it. Okay, other things. The director has said, because, like, when I was looking up this movie, right before we watched it, mostly to see how long it was, there was this thing where there was this question that is, like, commonly asked about the movie, you know, that whole section on Google, that's like, who's the real villain, right? Or who's the real heroine or hero of this film? Who's the real protagonist?
I think the answer is obvious.
And the director said it depends on you. Like, you can choose who the protagonist is to you. I did not tell Stingray who my protagonist was. It is Ava. I asked Stingray near the end. They said Ava. So, hear me out.
Because who the hell else?
I don't know. Maybe Caleb? I could see...
Yeah, like, if I had to rank them, I would go Ava, then Caleb.
Yeah. Like, if someone chose Caleb, I'd be like, that's a beige flag. If someone said Nathan, I say that's a red flag and run away.
Yes. Yes. I agree.
What
if someone said, oh, what's her name? I already forgot her name.
Kyoko?
Yeah.
I say that's fine. I'm fine with that. She's Shane Command. I like that for her. I love that for her. Okay, now, of course, spoilers for this movie. We got parent death. We have, dubious consent at best. At best. We got murder. We got, a lot of weird shit. Just a lot of weird shit happens in this movie. Listen, this is a weird sci-fi drama horror.
Listen, bestie, all I know is that I didn't know. I was just watching, and I didn't know a thing about this movie going in. And then all of a sudden, like, out close to the end, dude just out here slitting his wrist. I'm like, okay, we're here. This is what's going on. So, that's where we're at. Yeah. That's what's happening.
Yep. This is,
because he was trying to make sure he was real. Like, okay, that's not
you gotta make sure you're real and not this man creating you.
You know, I've done the exact same thing. I can't judge him.
But yeah, this movie is a weird.
Granted, usually the first time people cut themselves, they don't just, like, do it the right way. The first time, I don't know. Man's definitely needed stitches, but that's a different conversation.
Listen, he died anyways. It doesn't matter. So,
do you think he died from dehydration first, or starvation, or from the fact he needed stitches and then it got infected because whatever? Because it wouldn't close, because that would be his luck.
My guess is either.
Like, with the luck he has, I feel like that it never healed, and then he would have gotten an infection, and he would have died from the infection before.
I feel
he died from dehydration or starvation only because he has the worst luck in the fucking world, so he would die, like, a very painful death.
Yeah, no, I'm either thinking he either died of dehydration or he died of, like, he realized what was gonna happen, and so he ends up killing himself instead.
I mean, he already slit his wrist once. What's stopping him from doing it again?
Yeah. So this movie is on the vein of weird sci-fi horror that I love.
I agree.
I have a lot of them. I've shown 2 of them to Sting right now, and I think
they
like both
all
of
make
them.
Me want to bash my head against the wall.
Yeah, but that's like the point of them. The point of them is to make you want to scream and die, because you, like, how else are you supposed to react to this? Like,
I don't think normal people react like this. I feel like normal people already left this podcast episode.
But yeah, that's the vibe.
Where's all my non-normal people, and why aren't you listening to my podcast? Thank you.
But yeah, this.
I know you're out there. I know there's someone out here who's gonna love this shit. Who'll eat it up. Where are you?
Yeah.
Come home.
Also, I will say because this movie came out in 2014, and the CGI for Ava because the way that she looks is that like
It's so 2014 in a weird way. Does that
yeah,
make sense?
the way she looks is that like she has like a normal face and head type thing, like skin and whatnot, and then she has like a metal upper torso and lower torso, and then her legs, arms, and middle of her torso are like see-through type thing where you can see like all the wires and whatnot.
Can I mention the proportions of her see-through sections don't make sense with the rest of her proportions? Thank you.
I mean, it's probably because of the green screen stuff and whatnot, but so you know, good times. But also could be just because she was created by a man. So you
You're
know,
right.
but yeah,
We're gonna go with the second one.
the CGI stands up better than some of the dragon stuff in like the past 3 years in Game of Thrones. So
Because Game of Thrones has always sucked. So
this Game of Thrones CGI for dragons was pretty good 98% of the time, but every once in a while there was like one. Every once in a
listen,
while,
it's a show about fucking like I don't know incest and like murder and like occasionally dragons, from my understanding.
I mean,
It's
technically
terrible.
you're right. But
Terrible.
there's this one I'm thinking about where Jon Snow was to pet Drogo, and it just looked so bad the first time I watched it, right after like days after it came out, and this stands up better than that. So
listen, the fact that a show where like a lot of the whole thing is like incest, and yet it's so popular, I'm concerned.
listen, my favorite is seeing TikToks or Instagram reels about how Game of Thrones, everyone's like, ew, the twin incest, ew, not the incest, get it out of here. That's so weird. And then people watching House of Dragon, and everyone being like, if these cousins and or if this uncle and niece don't end up together, I'm gonna riot. Which, like, valid, because that was my first thought, and then I went, wait a second, what am I thinking? No. No. Do not let it happen. That is weird. We should not be appreciating that. I get that's, like, I think that's what they were going for, to, like, make us think about that and whatnot. But, like, dear God.
How did we get here? How are we having this conversation?
Because we were talking about CGI. Also, my computer charger is acting up, and I'm not happy about it. Please turn back on. Well, I'm gonna play with it as I record this. This movie opens with Caleb, basically winning the lottery, at work, to go visit, the owner of the company, for like a week or something. And as this is happening, you're like watching everyone congratulate him through the lens of like his webcam, like someone else is watching him, type thing. Yeah. So he shows up to this place. It's a little place, like I say, a little place. It is a house, very modern-esque type mansion in the wilderness on a waterfall in the middle of nowhere. The guy who owns this house, who owns the company, owns the whole entire area for like miles and miles and miles, so like there's no one nearby. The only way you can get nearby is a helicopter, which is how he's getting there. And you can't, like, can't get super close to the house with a helicopter. Like they have to be like a mile away or whatnot. So he has to like literally hike to the house in his suit because he's like trying to look presentable. And then he also learned that in exactly 1 week the helicopter will be back to pick him up. And that's like the only way you can leave this area, right? So
I love things that are like extremely ridiculous and like this, but they only happen in a week. Like that's crazy.
yeah, I know, right? So
That's like it has the same vibes as the entire Twilight saga. Why was I almost saying trilogy? Anyways, saga happening in like a year and a half.
that's so funny to me sometimes. So he gets to the front door and he immediately has his picture taken to give a security card to, right? To enter the house. He eventually finds Nathan, who's the owner of this house / the company.
Fucking Nathan.
Yes, who's like punching things, as he does. He is known for the three main things we instantly learn about him is that he drinks a lot, and then he makes up for it the next day by drinking a lot of green juice and punching a lot of things to work it out.
The fact that he does a lot of strength training but no cardio is a red flag.
True.
Because we never see him do cardio, all we see him do is strength training.
Yeah. So that is kind of like the first thing you learn about him.
I mean, he did dance that one time, but like, it's not very intense, so I wouldn't count that as cardio.
God, that dance scene is so weird in hindsight, knowing.
It really is.
So basically, we learn pretty fast that he has a new project that he was working on. He brings up I forget what it's called. It starts with a T.
Don't ask me.
It's like some type of test to test whether or not stuff about AI, right? Turing test, that's what it's called. And so of course Caleb, as a programmer and stuff, knows what the Turing test is, and he's like, yeah, my AI has already passed the test. It's fine. I just want to see if she can make you forget that she's AI, and that's the test I want you to do while you're here. Of course, there's like a bunch of signing NDA stuff, and he's like, if you don't want to know this, you can leave. But in like 10 years when this stuff comes out, you're gonna hate yourself. And he's like, okay, signs the NDA. We also learned the security card stuff. Basically, the way that Nathan explains it is that it's for you, not me, because you as the guest, where do you go? Like, where can you not go? At what time and whatnot? With this, you'll never have to worry about that, because if you can't go somewhere, it just won't let you in. The end.
I hope you know, I want everyone to know, if you haven't seen this movie, Nathan talks the entire time in the most condescending tone. In the moment I saw him before he even spoke, I knew I wanted to punch him in the face.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's kind of a thing. He shows into his room. There's no windows or anything, and he's like, yeah, that's because there's a lot of wires throughout this whole entire place.
Yes,
it's kind of very much like an underground bunker.
Hazard I've ever seen.
Yeah. It's like very much an underground bunker type vibe, because there's a bunch of security stuff, but also there's a bunch of wires everywhere, to handle everything. I guess if we were building an AI, makes sense, right? And whatnot.
Hear me out. A smart person would also still somehow build a fucking window. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
If he's as smart as he's portrayed as, he would have figured out how to put fucking windows in there.
Yes. Now this is around the time where we get title screens. And the first one is Ava Session 1.
Mm-hmm.
So this is when he meets Ava, the AI. He goes in, she comes out, and he's like in a little glass box type thing, and she can walk around him and whatnot, and they can sit and talk and whatnot. And so he like asks her questions about like what she knows about Nathan and her existence and whatnot. And basically we learn that Nathan, at a really, really young age, managed to make a search engine kind of Google-esque, but there was a bunch of other stuff with it that like made it better than Google, and so like he's one of the best search engines out there. He made it, so then he got like super rich by the time he was like 20 from that, and he's been coding, doing stuff ever since. And
he's so smart that he made this the best search engine ever by the time he was like, what, like 13, you said, or whatever?
14, I think it was.
Whatever, it doesn't matter, a teenager.
Yeah.
He should have been able to figure out how to put a fucking window in.
You in the window. And so, yeah, that's the thing.
Any way to talk shit on this man, for real.
True. So yeah, that's what we learn. We learn that, I don't remember the exact orders between the sessions, but there's, at one point we do see Caleb, in the bathroom. You didn't notice this. I had to point this to you afterwards. But he's in the bathroom and he's shirtless, while he's like brushing his teeth or something. And you see, on his back a bunch of scars, right? That looked like burn scars. And so eventually he tells, she was like, how did you become a coder and whatnot? And he tells a story of how, when he was a teenager, his parents got in a car crash and died. And he was also in the car crash and survived, but like he couldn't get out of bed for like weeks and months and whatnot. And during that time, he had nothing to do, so he taught himself how to code, and that's how he learned how to code. She asked him if he thinks he's a good coder, and he says, yeah, I think pretty good. And whatnot. That comes up at a later point. Um, so yeah, there's also this thing where occasionally there are power outages. When that happens, the key cards don't work. You can't like exit a room, um, and whatnot.
Which is why shit like this is stupid.
Yeah, um, and all this stuff. So yeah, that's a thing that keeps on happening. Pretty early on, I think around the second session, he learns that Ava's the one who turns off the power. Maybe the third one, but the second one, like during it, she turns off the power. She can like overload it with the way that her batteries recharge and whatnot, right? And so during that time, because Nathan can't watch them, they have conversations about just life. And she asks him about what's outside. He talks about different things he learned in
Well,
school.
if you want to talk about it, the first time it went off during a session, the first thing Ava told him was to not trust Nathan.
Yeah. Yeah. She says not to trust Nathan. They talk a lot about that type of stuff. She asks what will happen to her if she doesn't pass his test. Big deal. There's a lot of conversations about the outdoors. He asks if she's ever seen the outside and whatnot, and she says no. She's never touched grass or seen this blue sky. He talks about this lecture he had in school where they taught them the difference between AI and whatnot by something with sky color. It's weird. It's a little weird. Everything's very weird and it's all very uncomfy. I think it has to do with the sound design in the background is very just like unsettling. Stillness, right?
I don't
As
know,
this
but
is
it's
happening.
good.
Uh, Also, I think around the third session maybe, she starts wearing clothes, specifically dresses, uh, and whatnot, trying to cover up as much of her as possible that like can be shown that she's a robot. Like literally, she's wearing a dress with knee-high socks and like a cardigan over it, so basically you can see her hands and her face and a little bit of her like neck and and decolletage, and like the only part of that isn't like skin, fake skin, is like the part of her like neck and decolletage. So like basically she looks human. She also puts on a short wig. It's also important.
Yeah.
um Eventually Nathan shows him the lab where he created Ava, and I think this is like the first point where Nathan hints that Ava's not the first one, and he's like, "What do you think? Like she's the first one? Obviously, there's been previous others. Like she's version I think 11, I think, or maybe 10, something like that. I think she's in the double digits though.
Yeah.
To like test them out and whatnot. So he shows him all the wiring and the difficulty of like making a type of CPU that like can handle it like a brain that can like create synapses almost and stuff to like making new thoughts and whatnot. You know, human things but in a robot. Yay.
We should mention the fact he holds up this brain that looks like it's like a jelly brain. It almost looks like a jellyfish, but like brain. It looks like a jellyfish, but it's like brain shaped. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. Um so yeah, he shows that off to Caleb. They're drinking a lot like every night. At one point he has Kyoko wake Caleb up, and Caleb's like, yeah, thanks. I would have slept in if you hadn't done that. And he's like, yeah, good waking up, aren't you? And then he's like, if you want, you can like have sex with her. And like also he brings up the fact that she can't speak any English, because then she can't give away any of his secrets, right?
Sure, that's what's happening here.
And it's like, why have sex? Yeah. And so there's that's going on. Also at night, there's instead of a TV in front, like instead of a TV in front of his bed, there's like a security camera footage of Ava's room, so he can
Like
watch
that's
Ava sleep.
weird.
I think the first time he sees it, she like turns directly towards the camera, like she
Yeah.
knows that he's watching. Yep. You see one where Nathan goes in and like rips up the pictures that she's drawing, and I think it's of Caleb and whatnot.
Yes.
Because she like steals part of it and shows it to him. Yeah, because like she at one point shows him a drawing of like the outside, and he's like, but you haven't been outside, and she's like, yeah, but like I have pictures of it, so I can draw them. Um, and so he's like, well, I want you to draw whatever you want. It doesn't have to be like a specific thing, like a recreation of anything, whatever you want. Want to see what you draw. And so of course she draws Caleb, and Nathan comes in and rips it up and starts like being like low key abusive. There's also a lot of stuff like he views himself as like the robot's father, but also a god at the same time.
But also is he sexualizes them.
There's like a whole thing where Caleb like said something about like how some people could view him as a god in this because he literally created life. If this is so good, and Nathan's like, I'm gonna remember that quote to tell people that I'm a god. And he's like, that's not what I said. I said some people could view you as that, not that you are one. Very much showing Nathan's narcissistic viewpoint. Like whenever Caleb says something that he likes, he only takes the part that he enjoys and makes him look good, and then throws out the rest of it. Right?
You're a loser if you do that.
Yeah. So basically, the next day after that bringing of the drawing, she hides it like in her sleeve and then makes the power go out and shows it to him. Kind of like hinting at the abuse she goes through to him. Around this point, I believe it is that we learn from Nathan that yes, you can have sex with the robots because he gave them vaginas, and not only vaginas, but they will enjoy it because he gave them a bundle of sensors.
Mind you, this conversation was really weird, and then
Caleb was so uncomfortable the whole time. The whole time that conversation was happening, he's like, "That's not what I wanted to ask. I wanted to ask if you made her like me because she's like being flirty, and I want to know why."
Yeah, and then he brought up like types and like weird stuff about being gay. I was like, okay, sure, bestie.
Oh yeah, he's like, if you like a black, there's like a whole part of this monologue about liking black women, then that's your type, and what makes a type your type, and stuff like this. And it gets very icky very fast, and you're just like, hello. Also, the idea that like he views himself as the father of these robot AIs, and then made them the ability to have sex, and then he's also, other than that's the only other person in this building.
But also, the fact that they like sort of joked, but it was definitely low-key serious about the fact Nathan was like spying on him, and the whole thing about like they joked about Nathan seeing what kind of porn Caleb was watching, and I'm just like,
yeah, that's the whole thing. Yeah, I was gonna go into that about how he's all like, eventually Caleb's like, you know what kind of porn I watch. You made her purposely to look like that. Like, did you do that? And he doesn't say anything, I think, in response to it, but like it's hinted that yeah, that's what he did. Also like the whole thing where he's like an orphan and has no friends. He doesn't have any family. He's very much a loner. Like all this stuff is very important to Nathan. If you can see where I'm going, there's like a whole scene at dinner where Kyoko ends up accidentally breaking a glass, and he like is screaming at her, and Caleb's just like, what is happening? It's okay, I'll clean up myself, it's good.
This is also where we see those fuck-ass wine glasses.
Yeah, those wine glasses that are not, they are straight bottoms, not curved, and that doesn't let the wine air out properly, I'm pretty sure. They're so weird. They look more like candle holders. Like, yeah. I love how that's the part that you remember.
Because Nathan is fuck-ass decisions exactly what he would choose because he's stupid.
Yes. So yeah, Ava's continuing to flirt with Caleb. Caleb's noticing, but at this point, I think he's low-key flirting back at points.
I'm sorry, okay, listen. If you think about it, I'm kind of Caleb-coded. If I was in Caleb's situation, and I was brought to this weird-ass man's house that I technically work for, and he was like, test this AI, but he happened to make it look exactly like my type, which would be fucked up already, first off, and then secondly, everything else, I would also lose my mind and end up exactly like Caleb. That's all I have to say.
I love that. for you. Yeah. Um. So,
Let's play a game. Guess my type right now.
woman.
No shit, bestie.
Thought you'd appreciate
You're
that.
so smart.
Thanks. You already know my type. Everyone knows my type at this point.
Yes, strong woman and feminine men.
Yeah. Yeah. Very valid. That's 100% it. I either like feminine men or men who have hobbies that they're like so into that like it's just they love it so much. I think it's like a whole thing where like if they love a hobby so much it shows that like they care about things type thing, right?
Yeah.
I think
And
that
most men who have hobbies are like usually better people.
yeah, like Henry Cavill. I'm sorry, I'll
Oh
stop
my
there.
fucking god.
I'll stop there. I did see a Instagram reel yesterday that was like this woman be like, this is why I won't show my kids Hocus Pocus 2 because like I tell my kids that what happens on TV can come or comes to you on or something like that can come in real life. Uh and this guy was like, just showed a picture of Henry Cavill in The Witcher. Like, that's what I want to come to me in real life. And I was like, me too, sir.
You
I
would
still
think
haven't
the
watched
amount
season
of times
3.
I've watched Heartstopper, I would have manifested a girlfriend by now, but apparently that's not what's happening.
Real shame. I feel like at this point you should have manifested a friendship with Kit Connor by this point.
You're so right. We're not famous enough yet. We gotta get the podcast off the ground, and then bada bing, bada boom, we interview him for the podcast.
Do you remember that photo of him in like that black long jacket or robe thing where his chest was showing with the pink swim floaty?
Yes. Yes. And the crocodile, whatever they were.
Yes, that's my sexuality in a photo.
That happens just to be a picture of me, so.
Okay.
I love how that's how we view that picture.
Yes, my sexuality is Kit Connor's arms, let's be real.
Kit Connor's arms are something for me. I don't know what the fuck it is.
It just a spot in your brain. In your defense, do you see the shirts they put him on in that show?
In my defense, I think it's just because he's objectively attractive, but also he's unattainable, therefore it's safe. AKA a subsection of compact.
Yeah, I get it. I can, yeah. Where were we in this actual movie we're talking about?
I don't know.
There's two different hiking scenes between Nathan and Caleb. The first one, Caleb asks him why he's there. He's like, I wasn't, like, randomly chosen. And Nathan says, no, I chose you because you're the best at what you do, and I needed someone like you here. Cough, cough, that's a fucking lie. The Ava and Caleb, flirtation continues. She hints that, like, even more at the possible, like, viewable abuse by Nathan's hand. There's like the question of if it's abuse, not like officially brought up in the movie, but like brought up to you as a viewer type thing of is it abuse if like, and is it consent? If it's a robot that he created, like, is it technically, can you give, like, is it human enough to do that? But like they also make them uncannily human type thing where like,
and they give them a conscience. And,
yeah, it's like all this about like it's literally said at a point that like, he purposely programmed them to have thought processes like humans, where like they make new synapses almost they purposely make him say that. So like in your brain, you're like it's like it's just a like degree off of being human at this point. So like, is this?
I mean, by the like at the end of the movie, it's implied that Ava developed like actual human emotions, correct?
Kind of. I think. I don't know. All I know is she escapes.
And at that point, it's like mentally they are humans. Therefore, I do feel like it does
See,
count
here's the
as
thing. Under the
abuse.
Skin does a similar thing where you're supposed to be like, okay, so human emotions, whatnot, look like humans. Are they human? Type thing.
Hear me out. No, because animals don't have fully human emotions or have full thought processes, but we consider abusing animals a thing, so why wouldn't we consider abusing things like this a thing?
Because technically it's created, so is it like it's not
Everything's created.
natural, so therefore is it? Yeah, that's the whole debate that the movie's supposed to bring up to you. Yeah. Don't you love how I
But
love
everything's
movies that do this to
created.
you? It's like this and Arrival and then Pride and
Even we
Prejudice.
were created by something, whether we know what it is or not.
Oh, my
So
knees.
that's not a very valid thing because for all we know, we're not natural.
True.
But we view ourselves as natural, even though we may not be. We don't know.
Yeah, see, that's the whole point of the movie, is to bring up this debate, which is one of the reasons why I love it. Also, I just love horror that has AI and or robots in it.
Don't you love me having big thoughts?
I love that for you. Yeah, you got the point of the movie. Imagine being
I'm
able to
so
give.
smart.
Imagine being able to give the point of the movie without one of us having to look it up. Cough, cough, under the skin. Uh. uh.
Because this is actually a good movie, and they know how to give you the information without outright saying the information.
Yep. This is another slow movie where like a lot of nothing happens, but also little things happen. But like, you understand what's happening.
But and at the end of the day, it's all very so interconnected, and I eat that shit up.
Yeah. There's a scene where Caleb goes into this like lounge type room. There's this very famous painting there. He sees a phone and he like goes to use it, and it has like a swipe card type thing for it, for like the security card. So he goes to use it, and then instantly Nathan comes up behind him and takes it, and he's like, no, can't use it. He offers to let him not me getting a notification about Stingray's stupid decisions getting dressed every day, number 32.
Speaking of, I keep thinking about what would happen if we did interview Kit Connor, and I feel like it would just be me being silent the whole time, unless you gave me a list of questions, so I wouldn't say something so unhinged and disgusting that he would never want to speak to us again.
You mean me having to use my background of that one journalism class I had to take in college? Imagine if I actually used that class.
Because for I just know I would somehow say something fucked up like my beloved or something, and he would just be like, yeah, anyways.
I love that.
Or he would, like, I feel like I would just say something really fucked up, and he would just say, thanks, or something. Like, I just like, yeah.
So, right after the phone incident, Kyoko's there, Caleb tries to get Kyoko to, like, talk to him, nothing happens. And then Nathan's like, hey, you want to drink and party, my dude? And Caleb's like, what? And he's like, come on, dance with Kyoko, she loves dancing. And then, Kyoko just automatically starts doing this dance to this music, and she's only, like, wearing a white top.
This was so unhinged.
Yep. And then Caleb's just there like, what the fuck is happening? And then Nathan comes.
We're all like, what the fuck is happening?
Yep. And then Caleb, or not Caleb, Nathan's like wearing this weird robe that I don't know how to explain what the hell he's wearing in the scene. But he stands next to Kyoko and he's like, come on, dance, she loves dance. And then he starts doing the same dance. And like, after the fact, knowing that Kyoko is actually a robot, cough, cough, it's like, obviously he programmed this into her so that, yeah, this choreographed dance with her. You know, good times.
Which makes Nathan even more fucked up as a character, because what the hell is that?
Yeah, there is a part where Nathan's looking at security stuff, tapes and whatnot, and, watching them, and you see Kyoko in his bed behind him, completely naked, hinting that he'd be doing that, and also in some of the security tapes, I don't know if this is when we see it, but we get to see, all the previous reiterations and him killing them, and whatnot, and how they look different. I think there may have been a Native American one. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I remember one was named Jade.
I don't know. But they, yeah, we get to see that he killed a bunch of them. Like literally.
I mean, I guess at least he had variety, right?
Yeah,
I don't
right.
know.
I guess.
Oh, I mean, isn't he like not white too, so I get it.
He's like it's like supposed to be this whole thing where he's like racially ambiguous type
Yeah.
thing. Here, let me Oscar Isaac, where are you? Uh Latino. Okay, yeah. He's Latino. He was born in Guatemala.
Okay, but that doesn't mean his character is so, like, yeah, I guess you could just say whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. So, basically, we get to see on the security tapes, basically him beating all these other robots to death. Yay! Right? I think it's
Sure.
eventually Kyoko who opens up one of these, like, in his bedroom, there's, like, these 7 mirrors, pointed towards his bed, surrounding the foot of his bed, and she opens
Yeah,
one of
and
them.
you would think they're closets, but,
Yeah, she
no!
opens one of them up, and it's the dead robots. Which is so creepy in so many ways. One, why does he keep them in his room? Two, the fact that he has them in his room, and then the other robot, the robot that's walking around that he forces to be with him, like, can she give consent? We don't know. In the same
No,
room
she
as
physically
them,
cannot because
and she knows they're
she was
there,
not
and she
programmed
can
to be
see the
able to speak.
abuse. It's like, it's so bad. It's like, dude, please, please, get some help.
Listen, no, because even if she could, like, I imagine she does process thoughts and etc. Because how else would he be able to give her, like, verbal commands, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But with that being said, she physically cannot speak. She was not programmed with
The
the ability to speak.
which is
So
icky
even
on
if she
itself.
wanted to say no, she physically cannot.
Yeah. Um. Yeah.
And that's fucked up!
Yep.
Exclamation point.
Yep. There's a scene with Caleb. We already talked about this. Cutting open his skin to see if he's a robot too. He's not.
No, because, like, the whole thing, him going into the bathroom, pulling open his eyelids and just looking, and then I knew it before. Oh my fucking god, Spotify. These earbuds, I'm gonna kill myself. Anyways, that's not a good thing to say, but I'm talking about a bit about this. Anyway, he's like having a breakdown, obviously, and he's like looking all in it, like opening his eyeballs, you know, opening his eyelids up, looking in his eyes, and like just looking at his skin and like grabbing himself and like, you know, and I knew it. I knew it was gonna go down as soon as he walked in the bathroom. Especially because they lingered on a shot. Like there was a scene of him shaving before, and then a scene after that. There was a linger on the razor. So
Mm-hmm.
I automatically knew that was coming eventually.
Yeah.
And then he just slit his wrist and he bled a lot. And he's like, okay. He was just staring at it. He's like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
And then he proceeds to wear long sleeves for the rest of the film. Obviously there's cameras throughout the whole thing, so Nathan knew what he did.
Yeah, he was,
and then he
like,
brought it
seeing
up,
through
and I
the
was like, oh
mirror.
my god.
Yeah, he was seeing through the mirror. I think that's when we get the security tape thing with like Kyoko in bed behind him, and whatnot. Yeah.
I have to admit, the makeup for that scene was it was good. It was great.
Yes.
And
we
the
did
blood
talk
was
about fake blood.
realistic.
Yes. So yeah, that's happening. Now at this point, Caleb is making a plan to get Ava out of there. And so.
But once again, I don't feel like someone cutting themselves for the first time would be able to do that, but go off, I guess.
Yeah. So he has her.
I say this like I'm the expert.
He has Ava overpower the thing, so like he can tell her the escape plan, which is basically, he's gonna get Nathan super drunk. He's gonna steal his security card. The previous night we did see him and Nathan getting really drunk, and then he did steal Nathan's security card to like look at stuff, and so it looked like a planning scene. It was something else. Where he's looking at stuff and planning it. He did type into the big computer in Nathan's room that like has all the security stuff on it. And then Nathan wakes up and he's like, "Where's my card? I can't find it. Shit." Like for obvious reasons. And Caleb like fake picks it up from the ground. He's like, "It's right here, my dude," and gives it to him.
That part was so funny. He was so real for that.
Yeah. So he tells Ava that like he's gonna steal Nathan's security card again when he's super drunk, and then use it to change a bunch of security protocols so that when she does a power outage at this exact time, she can leave this room and then they will go and they will leave, together, right? So that's the plan, and she's like, okay, cool.
LOL.
Um, there's I skipped the other hiking scene over the waterfall. But basically what happens in that one is Caleb's like, okay, so I know for a fact now you did not choose me because I'm a quote unquote great programmer and all this stuff. Like, did you choose her because she's my type? Did you know what type of porn I watch and stuff? And he's like, yes, I want someone who had no friends and had no family and had no life, and you happen to be perfect.
That would make me kill myself if someone told me that.
Yeah. There's also a part where he talks about how he used the search engine to spy on like everyone ever.
Yeah. And then sold
Including
other information, yeah.
yeah, so that he could do the facial expressions properly. In the robots. Yeah, that's like a whole thing. And he also hacked into the other search engines and also did that. And nobody knows about it except for those companies. And the reason they know about it but haven't said it is because if they tell everyone, then they also have to tell them the reason they know is because they're also hacking into everyone's devices to spy on them. Um,
The way we know this is actually a thing, but like
yeah.
we all ignore it.
I just remembered why his search engine is quote unquote better, and it's like something about how it technically is supposed to be like this whole thing where it doesn't like watch everything you do to like offer you specific shopping options and whatnot.
LOL.
Like Google, you know how like if you say the word cheese, you suddenly get like 16 cheese ads all of a sudden.
Thank you for the cheese ads I'm about to get.
I'm gonna get them too. It's fine. No, so like that's the whole thing. But yeah, so he makes this whole plan. He goes to get Nathan super drunk. Except Nathan won't drink. He's like, I've been drinking too much. I'm gonna go on a cleanse. It's like only a green diet right now. And Caleb's like, shit. He's trying to get him drink. He won't do it. So he drinks it on his own. And then eventually Nathan's like, yeah, I know you have like a plan, and all this, because you didn't notice it, but because with all the power outages, I put a secondary, camera in the room so I could see you, and it shows him like the recording on the
that made
like
me
security
scream.
computer of him saying the plan to Ava. And all this stuff is like supposed to be this whole like I got you, and she's so good, like she figured this out. We do learn the reason why Caleb decides to help Ava escape is because Nathan does say, okay, well, did she pass because you like her? She got her to like you so much, or is it like just because that she actually passed and type stuff? Like you feel bad for her because he brings up the idea that like no matter what, he's gonna destroy her and then make a new, like he's gonna scoop her out like the scene in Sister Location. Freddy Fazbear. We don't need to talk about it.
Oh my god. I can't lie. I was watching the info videos yesterday, but like specifically the spooky week ones. So yeah, I was watching them play Five Nights at Freddy's yesterday.
That's so funny. So yeah, like he's gonna take.
I would like
basically...
everyone to know that the Slender video is ingrained in my brain.
Yeah.
Slendy.
Because he does ask after she asks him what's gonna happen to her if she doesn't pass the test, and so he does ask Nathan, and Nathan says, I erase her. Basically, he will erase all her thoughts and her memories and whatnot, and then change a few things, and then put her back together.
I feel like he kind of implies that Ava is manipulating him already.
Yeah, it's like, especially in this scene where like he's like, I got you, I know about your secret plan, that he's all like, listen, she manipulated you, she's so good, like you did such a good job, she's like manipulated you hard, my dude. She doesn't actually like you, she can't like you, she's a robot and all this stuff. And it's like this whole thing about like honestly the monologues from Oscar Isaac is so good. Like I hate Nathan as a character, but like his monologues were so good.
Yeah.
And so all the stuff, and it's like this whole thing.
He did what he needed to do for real.
Yeah.
He did the damn thing.
He did the damn thing. He goes off on this monologue about how he knew this whole time, how Caleb's a fucking idiot for falling for her.
Everybody was casted perfectly in this.
Yes, and how she used him, and he's gonna take her apart and do a few tweaks, but like otherwise she's like perfect and all the stuff. And Caleb's like, yeah, if only I hadn't already done it all. And he's like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah, you remember last night when you were super drunk and you couldn't find your card? Yeah, I already stole it. I lied. I already did all that stuff. I already changed the security protocol so when the power outage happens, she can escape. And then that's when the power goes out. And she leaves. You can like see her leave on the security cameras and whatnot. And
This
she's
was
like,
so intense.
yeah, and she's like wearing a like different outfit or something like that. I think she put on a like longer wig. At this point, uh, Ava's actual hair and whatnot, and so, or not Ava, the actress's actual hair, I'm pretty sure. And so basically he's like, yeah, that I figured you knew something was up because you've been suspicious asking me what's been going on during the power outages when we have conversations. So I did it the night before. I did all. I changed the security protocol so she can go. And Nathan's like, you idiot. And he, because his key card can get him out of the room, during the power outage, right? Caleb's can't. There's like a whole scene where he's like, I can't exit my room during the power outage. And he's like, yeah, your security card is for security stuff. I can, but you can't, type thing. So Nathan goes to leave. There's a scene where Ava and Kyoko like look at each other and share a look, and Ava whispers something to her. I would like everyone to know there is Ava and Kyoko fanfic.
Hell yeah.
We love it. But basically Kyoko takes one of the knives and straight up stabs him right through the spine. My favorite
Are
part.
they locked in separate rooms, Nathan and Caleb?
No, they were locked in the same room, but he just watched him go.
Yeah, but Caleb was locked in, and that's how he died, right?
Yeah, but
Why
because
didn't he
Nathan
just
had the
get-
security key card, the higher level key card.
Yeah, why didn't he just get Nathan's key card?
Because Nathan was outside the room.
Because they
Nathan
were
was-
locked in separate rooms.
After the fact, yes. They were locked in the
Oh
same
my
room
God.
together. Then Nathan uses the key card during the power outage to get out, right? And Caleb
Okay,
stays
yes.
in the room to like look at to look around the room, and that's when he starts to see like all the other robot bodies and whatnot, right?
Yeah, okay. I got it.
Yeah, and then at this point Kyoko's like stabbing him in the back, in the hallway. And so there's like a door locked in between them. My favorite part of the stabbing in this is like, you know, as a person there's like a bunch of muscle and ligaments and bone in the way, especially in the torso. There's a lot of ribs
And
there.
as a human, there's mental resistance on your end when you're trying to stab
Yeah, so
somebody.
like when it's stabbing people, very difficult, very difficult. The robots, when they stab someone, it just goes in like it's butter. It's just like, what? Which I find very funny. When he left the room, Nathan took a dumbbell, but he took like the actual weights off, so it's just like the rod and whatnot, like, so basically a metal heavy rod with him. So she stops in the back and he turns around and just beats her down, takes off like one of her arms, and like beats her face off, literally. And then he's like freaking out. He goes to be like, turn around, and there's Ava there. She takes the knife out of his bag and then stabs him in the chest and leaves him there dying. He does hit her in the arm at one point, so she also has a busted up arm, right? So she goes into, I think there's like a glass wall there in between like the security area and the bedroom with the other robots. So she goes into that room, and Caleb's like, okay, but we gotta go. And she like goes into this bedroom and she sees all these other robots in there. And she like starts taking off their fake skin and putting it on her. She takes one of the fake arms and puts it on her. Yeah, we're ignoring the fact that she has a different skin tone than them, type of stuff, and magically it matches her, right? And she's like a different size, but the arm magically fits her and all this stuff, right? We're just ignoring that fact. So she's completely monotone, ignoring Caleb. She walks through the front parlor of this house as Caleb's like screaming, being like, let me out, you gotta get me out, you can get a security card, you're right there, let me out. And he's trying to beat down the door, but like it doesn't work, it's a glass door so you can like see through it, but like you can't get through it. He throws like chairs at it, he can't get through, basically proving that he's locked in there, he's gonna die in there, right? The director did state that he does die in that room, so Good times. Ava walks through the front portion. She has on a white dress at this point, like showing her purity as a human now. She also has heels. The idea that she's wearing heels for the first time and she's walking perfectly, iconic. She walks outside. She touches grass for the first time. Um, and looks up at the sky, and then she hears the whirring of a helicopter because it's the day that the helicopter guy comes back to collect Caleb. So she takes off her heels. We do see that like she's walking with the heels in her hand at this point because she's walking in tall grass and whatnot. And she walks to the helicopter. He takes her out thinking that she's the person that's gotta go home. I assume it's like a different employee, helicopter pilot or whatnot, right? Just knowing that he's supposed to pick up a person at this time, and she happens to be there, so like he picks her up. And then it cuts to like human society, and she's just there, living her life, one among humans.
That's crazy.
And I love her for it. We love her. She really manipulated that bitch to get her out, and then she was like, "Bye, bitch," and had lived the life. The end.
You know, that's so valid.
Really?
You gotta do what you gotta do sometimes.
You really do. Anyways, yeah, I love Ava. I love this movie, and I know a lot of people who love Arrival also love this movie. Like, I can see the diagram of people who love one and love the other. And being as the Arrival is like one of my top 3 movies, yeah, makes sense.
The pipeline is real.
Mm-hmm. And after this, Stingray did say I'm not allowed to show them any more weird sci-fi horror movies that make you think. I don't know why.
For my own mental health, yes.
Yeah, it's not like after I showed you Arrival, you like had an almost mental breakdown and then had to go to Walmart 5 minutes later and you were screaming at me.
Yeah, but also I was around my step family. Yeah, it was a day, and then we had to go pick up my father at the same time. Yeah, that was not a good time for me.
But don't you love that movie? It's so good.
Yes.
Yeah, so here's the things I like in weird sci-fi stuff, and horrors, is things to do with water, things that have to do with AI and robots, and things that have to do with time. And then fourth place is aliens. Yeah, I was gonna say fourth place is aliens, but yeah, all my favorite horror,
Mr. Aliens, for real.
All my sci-fi horror favorites have at least one of those.
I want to pet the heptapods on their little heads.
I know, right? I did see that cover recently. Again, we're looking for the cover for, I think it was They, and I was fucking dying of laughter. I saw it out of the blue, and I was like,
oh my God. In my entire life.
It's so good. I love how you want to pet them on their little heads, but they're kind of very tall. How are you gonna get up there?
They would come down there. They're nice like that. They would come all the way down here.
We should watch that movie again.
I don't think I can handle that anytime soon.
Okay. Bye. I see how it is.
Maybe next month.
I should watch you. I should show you Hill House.
Yeah, you should.
Post me and sister watching it. I'll watch it again with you. It'll be my 3rd time watching it ever. Dude, I forgot. Like, I remembered the main things for this show, but like, right? But like, I forgot how emotionally draining it is. And dude, I was literally crying last night, and my sister was like, "What the hell?"
We should do a wrap up of our thoughts and end the episode.
We should, because we've actually been recording for more than an hour. Imagine that. On this podcast, this month, no. My final thoughts is, of the 3 movies we did this month, this is the one I rated 5 stars. Talk to Me was 4, and Under the Skin was 3, maybe 2.5. This one's clearly my favorite. I love it. I forgot how good it was. It's been a good few years.
I don't really have a rating, star-wise, but obviously Under the Skin was my least favorite, and I feel like depending on the day, my favorite would go between Talk to Me and this one.
Fun fact, I first watched this movie when I was 15.
The idea that you were 15 in 2014 reminds me that you're, like, older than me.
Yeah, I'm a few years older. I'm sorry. Sometimes I forget my age. Yesterday I said I was 25, and that's, like, the 3rd time I've done that in, like, the past 2 months. And I'm actually 24. I keep on saying 25.
Yeah, so
But yeah, this movie
How
good.
old was I? 2014.
Uh, I think you would be like 9, 10.
Yeah.
If I'm doing math
What
properly.
what what type what part of the year did you watch it in?
I think I watched it end of the year, so.
I would have been 10 already then.
I think it was like end of fall, early winter when I watched it. Which is fitting, because like despite the fact that it's like very sunny outside and like supposed to be like looking like spring type stuff when the few scenes outside in this movie, it gives cold vibes. Hear me out. It's got robots. You can't tell me it doesn't have cold vibes.
Yeah, and the peculiar vibe, yes. Also, hearing that I'm 20 and you're 24 right now, that's not crazy. But hearing that in 2014 I was probably 10 and you were 14 is weird and
Yeah,
fucked up.
yeah. It's like when you know people who are 4 years apart dating in high school is weird, but like in their 20s that's not weird, and upwards it's like that's normal. But like in high school that's a little icky to me. I think it's because brain development at that age type stuff.
I was
Like
going through so much shit.
so was I. I was in middle school.
I was still in elementary. I was like in 5th grade.
Actually, I may
Ew,
have
the
been
idea I've been
in high school.
watching Dan and Phil since I was in 5th grade.
I love that for you. I was
And
actually in
that's how
ninth
long I've
grade,
been
I
listening
think.
to
So.
Panic at the Disco and Fall Out Boy, even though I don't like Panic at the Disco like that anymore.
I think I was.
Imagine 5th grade, and all at the same time, getting obsessed with Panic at the Disco, Fall Out Boy, and Dan and Phil. I was so fucking annoying.
I mean, I was also obsessed with them at the same time because I was in them around ninth grade.
I was like 10 years old, Rose.
Yes, but
And I was
imagine at
staying
the
up
same
till like
time
3
you were
a.m. watching Dan and Phil's shit. And then going to school the next day, exhausted because I stayed up till 3 a.m. watching Dan and Phil's shit.
Yes, I know, but like imagine.
I remember when the gaming channel was launched. I was
too.
10
Remember
years
the Craft
old.
channel? Remember the
Yes,
Craft?
I do.
I think about
Cry,
it
you
every
don't
once in a while.
cry. You craft, bestie. Okay.
Every once in a while, I think about that Craft channel. You know,
It still exists. We can watch it.
I do occasionally watch them still.
I know. You just have to.
No, just imagine the fact that like when you were in 5th grade watching them, I was also at the same time possibly watching them at the same exact time, many states away.
Life is so weird and funny like that.
It really is. Anyways, this movie's great. The end.
Also, Dan and Phil coming back in 2023 with the gaming channel was not on my bingo card, but if we don't get a spooky week, I'm literally in their walls, you know?
Mm.
Spooky week is my favorite thing they've ever done for the gaming channel. Listen, if you knew how many times I've watched the Slender video and the Watts and Scott test video, you would be concerned.
I mostly watched The Sims. I watched a lot of them playing The Sims. I would watch it
I've
every
watched
year.
the entire Sims series like 4 times.
Same. It's like
We're
just
so normal.
I just love the owl roof. Owl slide
The
roof.
Fly.
This is so good.
Still.
Anyways, anything else about this movie?
It's amazing. 10 out of 10. Whoever did it, I love you.
Okay. Goodbye.